Oh my gosh.
Happy Halloween, miss! Welcome to the Avid Movie Fans channel. I'll let Gabe continue it from here of why I'm dressed up like this ridiculous thing.
All right, so guys, so we are because it was Halloween, uh, and now because it is just past Halloween, everything is now Christmas themed. We are slowly trying to transition into reviewing Christmas horror movies right now. We might do a few Thanksgiving ones as well, but we're going to be mostly starting to focus on Christmas themed things here soon. Um, and so we did just watch a horror movie, Christmas horror movie today.
Yes. And this is the
Something
closest
I
thing.
had never seen.
Yeah. And this is the closest I could come up to come up with a Krampus costume. But we'll get into the review now. Ugh. All right, so let's get started. Gabe, is there anything that you wanted to say before we launch into our review?
Uh, Was there any? I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm trying to remember if there was anything else that we needed to share.
Nope, just that November is going to be largely our Christmas horror theme. When we get into December, it'll be more solely just Christmas. But just know that this channel, Gabe and I specifically for this channel, we are avid movie fans. We love all movies, but we tend to gravitate more towards the horror films. Am I right?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm sure at some point we'll probably do a few reviews that are not horror movie related.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
right now that's our main focus for the most part.
Agreed. Agreed. I even
But
switched,
there are.
I even switched the mask in the background. It used to be a scary clown, and now for some reason it's just a different mask. I'll probably switch it every month just for fun. But yeah, so what was the movie that we watched today?
Yeah, I did want to just say one other thing. If
Oh,
there
sure.
are any movies that you guys, anybody that's watching this likes our reviews, has any interest in finding out what we would think about a certain film, like we're open to whatever movie. Just let us know.
Yeah, leave it in the comment. We usually respond to all the comments. So yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So what was the movie that we watched today?
Oh, the movie was A Christmas Horror Story. And a Christmas Horror Story, we are going to be doing some spoiler alerts today, also, just to let you know. So if you haven't seen the film, be aware. We'll also have a pop-up when we are spoiling things so that you guys kind of know ahead of time in case you want to just like listen a little bit and click off.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
So the film is basically an anthology. It's basically an anthology. It is not the typical way where it's like one short after the other. This one, they're all kind of combined though and going on simultaneously.
Right.
Um, so which I actually really liked. I like that a lot better actually because I don't know, my brain, that's how it works. So
Which is funny because when we were watching it, you were like, I think I'm going to get totally lost on all these stories, happening at the same time. So,
but I actually really liked it, and
okay.
it kept me entertained, which is very important for me when I'm watching a film.
Sure.
I'm sure I've mentioned many times with some of the films that I really dislike already, but if they're really slow or just dull, it's
Right.
really hard for me to stay interested and sometimes even stay awake.
Sure.
So this one kept me on my toes the whole time. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's the best film, but it is a lot of fun to watch. If you're looking for a horror Christmas movie, I would say. One of so I'm gonna say this and then I'll do a spoiler kind of with it.
Okay.
So for people that don't want to know spoilers yet, but are
Earmuffs.
a little interested,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I would say that there's like 4 different storylines going on, right?
Yeah.
And the one seems very uninteresting the entire time, pretty much, at least in my opinion. It also seemed kind of cheesy and out of place with the rest of them. The rest of them seemed about equal with like
Was that the Santa
quality
Claus?
and
Was that the Santa Claus zombie elf one that you're talking
yes,
about? Okay.
yes, yeah. Spoiler alert, guys.
I mean, that's in the trailer.
So
That's in the trailer. So
okay. But that is it just didn't seem like the same quality, and it gets a whole lot better towards the very end. Like I was not expecting that one to get better, and it did.
the twist. The
It,
twist was pretty
it
good.
just it, well, just even before there was a big twist, which made you then understand what was actually going on, which was kind of cool.
Right.
But even before that, there were some very interesting parts in it that started to get my attention. Before that, I was just like, okay, like, who cares about this?
Get to the next story, right?
Right. And part of it is, even though it is a Christmas horror story film, like the Santa Claus thing just didn't have my attention for
Right.
a while.
Right.
But it got really interesting really fast towards the end.
Even though if you're paying attention, we talked about this a little bit a while ago. They do pepper in hidden details throughout the film to let you know it's foreshadowing to let you know this is kind of where it's headed, or at least that one story. Although technically, two stories kind of combined together there at that moment. So
That's true. Yes. So even though I was saying it was an anthology, is it an anthology? Because then they started to kind of connect. But what's weird is I've seen films like this before, like not horror movies necessarily, but like Pulp Fiction, for instance, or I don't know, things of that nature.
right. And also, as we're getting into the Christmas season, a lot of Christmas movies do that, where you find out it seems like there are 3 or 4 or 5 different plot lines happening at the same time. And it's a Christmas movie, and then suddenly you find out at the end they're all connected. Like the first one that
Right.
pops into my head would be Love Actually does that. And then they came out with a slew of movies in the aughts. Like Valentine's Day does that, New Year's Eve does that.
Mhm.
And
It was kind of a later 90s, early 2000s when
right.
a lot of those kind of films were coming out where it was like everything seemed separate, but then actually there was some kind of weird connection with all of them. Whereas this one, we don't exactly have that because really, no, wait, we did. Actually, they are all connected.
Mhm. Well,
They're all
they're all
connected.
living in one town, so yeah.
They are all connected, but it doesn't seem that way for the most part.
Right, right.
Like when you're watching it, now that I think about it, they're all connected. I was gonna say just those two were, but they're all connected.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you've got let's not forget the most famous person in the cast seems to interweave the stories together, and that's William Shatner as the disc jockey for the radio station.
yes. And I love that he's in it. I wish he was a little funnier, personally. I do.
A lot of
Um,
it, I think, was the writing. The writing wasn't great for him, to be honest with you.
some of the acting and the writing wasn't perfect, but it was not just for him, some of the other parts of the film.
Sure.
But overall, it was a lot of fun, especially for a Christmas horror movie. I mean, one of my favorite Christmas horror movies is Krampus. So, also, spoiler alert, there's a Krampus in this, which is great. I love it. And that made me so happy. And it was also like, it's always kind of fun to see the design
Mhm.
of him for each movie, because each movie there's always a slightly different look.
Well, we were talking about Krampusnacht, which is a festival in Europe. And yeah, even like watching the parade, there are like many different variations of Krampus in there. And actually, this movie came out before the big popular Krampus movie came out. So this was actually my introduction to Krampus in just to begin with. So yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to share your thoughts on it?
Yeah, okay, so this was not a first time watch for me. This was one that I wanted Gabe to watch. And when we were coming up with the idea for this channel, it was, again, we've said this before, but if your first time here watching this, originally Gabe and I decided we wanted to do a movie reaction channel, but we've been hit by the censors too much. So as we're trying to figure out how to make full reactions, we decided to do few words reviews. I'm not so good at the few words part, but what I would say about this film was I've seen it quite a few times, and that's why I brought it up, is because the channel, when we get into the reaction, it's going to be alternating weeks where Gabe shows me a movie he's seen that he wants to share with me, and then the other week I will show Gabe a film that I've seen a million times and want to share it with him, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I know Gabe actually likes bad movies. I'm not a fan of them.
Not all bad movies, but some.
But one of your favorite genres are the B horror films.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the classic ones from the 50s, which I love. We're talking about like modern day badly made horror films.
But purposely badly made. Those are the ones that I like, are purposely badly made, at least.
But so for this film, I enjoyed it. Actually, this is the third time that I've seen it. And it's always fun to rewatch a film that I enjoyed the original time, because you pick up things that you didn't see in previous viewings. But that's with like every movie you watch over and over again. I will say though, this film tends to go down in likes for me every time I watch it. So maybe I won't watch it again for a good long while. When I told you I wanted you to watch this movie, I really just wanted the twist. I wanted you to see the twist. That's it. And it's such a long build up to this twist at the end. And to hear you say that you enjoyed the twist and you even started to enjoy, which I agree with you, one of the weaker of the stories. I will say I don't like the segment that is about abandoning or investigating that it's not an abandoned building, it's their school that had a murder, spoiler alert, had a murder a year beforehand. And so they're kind of doing like a paranormal investigation type thing. And I thought that was the weakest segment of the whole story.
I agree. See, I would have said it was the Santa Claus one had it not had a giant twist towards the end.
Okay.
So I agree with you. That would be the weakest link in my opinion as well. However, had it been a completely different film, that would have probably been good. It didn't work with the rest of the.
Right. It's so funny because you think that the Santa Claus one was the odd man out, like that Sesame Street segment, which one of these things is not like the other. You think it's the Santa Claus one, but really it's the paranormal investigation.
But really, it's the paranormal investigation, yeah.
And
that one, that one wasn't even very Christmassy.
Yeah. It just happened to happen. It just happened the anniversary
anytime.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
It also definitely gave me like paranormal activity kind of vibes, which I'm not a huge fan of too. I just don't like a lot of horror movies where it's just like fake investigations.
Yeah.
Too. I'm not a huge fan of that. So I was never gonna be a huge fan of that one anyways,
Sure.
I feel like.
Sure.
But it, like I said, had it been next to some other ones that were different or closer to that,
yeah.
It would have been good. I think maybe something a little more Christmassy would have been better.
Sure.
In place of it.
I gotta say,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Sorry, spoiler alert. I don't know if they were trying to suggest that this was either the Antichrist or the birth of Jesus. Like it was very confusing.
Weird. Yeah.
Um,
My favorite segment actually was spoiler alert, the changeling one actually was that was, or at least that was the one that had my attention the most. That's the one that I kept wanting to go back to. Like so yeah, that one was the one that I enjoyed. Anyway, this review's kind of getting long.
oh
So
yeah.
anything else that you have to get off your chest? I know you said you wrote down some things that you wanted to address with this.
Oh, I think I mostly dealt with it, but um, I guess I wanted to say about the changeling thing. I thought the changeling thing was really cool. I did like that one a lot.
Watch a whole movie about that topic.
I would
If it
too,
was done.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I think they could have done a lot more with it too, had they had the time and wanted to.
And also the special effects in that one were very eerie. Like I'm not really put off by like a lot of like, kind of sometimes feels like cheap thing, but I gotta say that kid was kind of really creepy, like crawling across the ceiling and popping up and ran. Like I was like, okay, I wasn't like scared. I guess the word I would use would be unnerved. I was unnerved for most of it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, and I liked that he was like crawling on the ceiling, and then there were some points where like I think you saw him in the window,
Yeah,
right? The
the first time you see what he actually looks
that
like,
was
you see it as a
creepy.
reflection.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there were some really cool parts in that one, and that one was probably the most inspiring for me as a filmmaker.
Sure, sure.
Um, but I did really love the Krampus part, and the Santa Claus twist was just great. That
Yeah.
was a
All right. So let's do our up, down, eh.
sure,
All
sure.
right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So we
Yeah,
both agree. Two
we
thumbs up.
agree for one.
Yeah, we don't do that a lot actually. Which is good because also if we eventually get into our own paranormal investigating stuff, I know you're more of a believer and I'm more of the skeptic. So I think maybe this channel will actually do well because it won't be like, hey, we agree on everything.
Better not leave me in a room. That's my
I
only.
can't promise that I won't. I cannot
I don't
promise.
know about this. I guess we'll see. All right.
Anyway, oh, I've gone blurry again. 1 second. So that wraps up this review. I did want to mention, we did take a week off because we did do like 27, 28 videos in 3 weeks. And then I started doing some murder mystery dinner theater things, and Gabe's getting started with a new job. So we took we took a week off. We're getting back into it. So stick around. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe. What are some of your favorite Christmas themed horror films? They're plentiful. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies, which is why I was totally like okay with doing the Christmas horror movie for
Don't
the
forget Thanksgiving.
yeah, and then there's going to be the Thanksgiving movie comes out in a couple of weeks if I'm not mistaken. I'm so excited about that one.
So we're definitely gonna see it together, right,
Oh yeah,
James?
yeah, yeah. We'll see it. We'll review it. I'll hate it. It'll be great. All right. So, see you next time.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Phew.